To qualify for food stamps, in other words, to have access to SNAP benefits, here are the steps I want you to follow right now. Step number one, you need to find out more about SNAP. See, the whole thing is that SNAP is a federal program that is run locally. So you want to contact the agency office in your state or county or municipality or township or whatnot. And it should be listed on your state government website, or you can search online. So you can just go to Google right now. You want to type food stamps or social services or human services or public assistance, and there should be a toll-free hotline number. And the thing is that each state has its own application form, and most states offer online applications. And the U.S. Department of Agriculture provides a free SNAP eligibility tool to determine if you are eligible for SNAP benefits. And the thing is, if you don't have internet access, you want to call Project Bread 1-800-645-8333 for help. The number again is 1-800-645-8333 for help. Okay, so let's talk about SNAP resources and income limits. So SNAP basically requires households to test their measure resources and income. Some of this changed temporarily or were waived during the COVID-19 pandemic. So you want to check with your state to make sure that the current standards are still what you thought they were 1 or 2 years ago. This is very important. So the 48 contiguous states, Alaska and Hawaii, have higher limits, and the District of Columbia, the requirements differ year after year. Okay, now let's talk about the resources. So households are limited to $2,250 in countable resources, such as bank account, or $3,500 if at least one person is 60 or over or disabled. Some resources are not counted, such as home or land. So people who receive Supplemental Security Income, SSI, temporary assistance for needy families, TANF, and most retirement or pension plans are exempt from the resources cap. This is very important to mention. Okay, so the procedures for handling vehicles are determined by states. Again, this is a federal program that is run locally, statewide. So 32 states exclude the entire value of the household's primary vehicle as an asset, while 21 exclude the value of at least one vehicle per household. So the remaining 2 states use a formula to determine the countable resource value of a vehicle. This is why you want to contact your state office to have a better idea of how they run things in your state. Now let's talk about income limits. By the way, welcome back to the channel. We really appreciate having you here. We're having a nice conversation about how to qualify for food stamps. Okay, let's talk about, I spoke about the resources. Let's have a conversation about the income limits. So households must meet income tax unless all members are receiving SSI, TANF, or general assistance. So if there is a family member over 60 or someone who is getting financial disability payments, only the net income test must be met. Okay, so one thing you need to understand here is that income limits change yearly, and updated limits can be found on the USDA website. And the limits for those applying between January 2023 and December 2023 are on the screen right now. But again, those limits change yearly, so it doesn't matter if you watch this show 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You just have to go to your state website to see what the limits are at that particular time. Okay, now it's important to understand that gross income is a household's total non-excluded income before deductions. So net income is the gross income minus allowable deductions. So SNAP gross and net income limits are higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Okay, now let's talk about the allowable deductions. So deductions dollar figures like income limits change yearly. So for information, you want to always visit the USDA website or your state your state SNAP benefits website. So you have a 20% deduction from earned income, a standard deduction of $167 for households of 1 to 3 people, and $181 for 4 people, higher for some larger households. You have a dependent care deduction if needed for work, training, or education. Medical expenses for elderly or disabled household members that are more than $35 for the month if they're not paid by insurance or someone else. You have a legally owed child support payments. In some states, homeless households are allowed $156.74 for shelter costs, excess shelter costs that are more than half of the household's income after the other deductions. So example of allowable costs are fuel to heat and cook with. You have electricity, water, telephone costs, rent or mortgage payments, and taxes on the home. The shelter deduction cannot exceed $586 unless one person is in the household is elderly or disabled. And so the limit is, again, I want to really specify, the limit is higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and Guam. Let's talk about the employment requirements. So people must meet work requirements to be eligible for SNAP. So they include registering for work, not voluntarily quitting a job or reducing hours, taking a job if offered, okay, very important, participating in their state's employment and training programs. Additionally, able-bodied adults under 50 without dependents must work or participate in a work program for at least 20 hours per week to receive SNAP benefits for more than 3 months in a 36-month period. So this limit was waived during the COVID-19 pandemic, and states also may issue waivers if there are no jobs available. So it's always best to check with your state if you think you may qualify for a waiver. This is really important. Now, failure to comply with these requirements can cause people to be ineligible for SNAP. Some groups, such as children, seniors, pregnant women, and people with physical or mental health concerns, may be exempt. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's conversation. We're having a convo about how to apply for SNAP, how to apply for SNAP benefits. Okay, let's talk about special rules for elderly or disabled. Very important. Now, there are several exceptions and exemptions for when it comes to elderly or disabled. Now, if a household member is elderly or disabled, special procedures apply. A person is considered elderly for SNAP purposes if they are 60 years or older. A person is considered disabled for SNAP purposes if they are receiving federal disability or blindness payment under the Social Security Act or SSI, very important. If they are receiving a disability retirement benefit from a government agency because of a disability considered permanent under the Social Security Act. If they are receiving an annuity under the Railroad Retirement Act while being eligible for Medicare and considered disabled under the SSI rules. If they are a veteran who is totally disabled, permanently housebound or in need of regular aid or attendance. If they are a surviving spouse or child of a veteran who is receiving VA benefits and is considered to be permanently disabled. So the SNAP program is one of several programs offering financial help for senior citizens. Okay, let's talk about immigrant eligibility. So documented immigrants who have lived in the country for 5 years are receiving disability-related assistance or benefits, or are children under 18, they are all eligible for SNAP. And some non-citizens, such as those admitted for humanitarian reasons or those admitted for permanent resident, may also be eligible. Okay, this is really important. Now, non-citizens who are in the U.S. temporarily, such as students, are not eligible. This is really important. We've had questions about that. People have asked us questions. So let me just repeat. Non-citizens who are in the U.S. temporarily, such as students, are not eligible for SNAP. And now you also have to think about when we think about the SNAP computation examples. Well, the thing is, everything happens through an algorithm, and it's very complicated. So those SNAP computations are done through a formula that nearly requires a degree in math to follow. So it's just better to contact your local office, contact your local SNAP office. So let them do the calculations. Just give them your numbers, give them your data, and they'll do the calculations for you. I want to dig a little deeper into how SNAP really works. So basically, the thing here is that a household member can apply for SNAP benefits at the local state or county office. Online applications are also available in most states, but like I said, it's just better to speak to someone before you apply, so that your case officer, they can answer all questions that you have. Okay, so after the application, there is normally a face-to-face interview where proof of income and expenses is required. Please make sure that when you go to that interview, be prepared. I want you to have all your paperwork. Don't you go out there and they start asking you questions and you have no answer prepared, or you can't actually provide proof of income. No, be prepared. So required documentation may include proof of your identity with a federally issued identification card, such as a driver's license, proof of address, social security numbers for everyone in the household, proof of monthly income before taxes or deductions, information on all household members, name, age, relationship, proof of immigration status for non-citizens who are applying, along with proof of medical and child care expenses. Very important. Now, for people who cannot visit an office or complete an online application, another person called an authorized representative can apply and be interviewed on their behalf. Please make sure that the authorized representative must be designated in writing. So you have to put it in writing. You have to authorize that person in writing. You can't just say, listen, this person, my aunt or my uncle, is my authorized representative. No. You have to put it in writing. Very important. And in some instances, a local office can interview candidates by telephone or do a home visit, which must be scheduled with a household. Okay. And for SNAP purposes, a household is defined as everyone who lives together and purchases and prepares meals together. If people have meals provided through an institution, they are generally not eligible for SNAP benefits. Exceptions are elderly home living in federally subsidized housing and disabled people who live in nonprofit group homes with no more than 16 residents. So those thresholds are very important. Okay, and people who qualify for SNAP get the money through an EBT card, which works like a debit card. Benefits are automatically loaded into the household's account each month, giving households the ability to buy groceries at authorized stores, including grocery stores, large department stores like Walmart, some farmers markets, and in many states now, online through the card. This is really good. Now, one thing I need to say is that the card cannot be used to pay a food delivery service. Okay, very important. Now, if approved after application and qualification, you should receive SNAP benefits within 30 days. Emergency SNAP benefits available within 7 days are available for a household with income and money in the bank adding up to less than the monthly housing expenses. So SNAP recipients are required to recertify their income. The frequency varies based on situations, but it's commonly once a year. If the recertification is not completed, the SNAP benefits can be canceled and you must reapply. Now let's talk about restrictions on purchases, because there are restrictions on purchases. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're speaking about how to apply for SNAP, how to qualify for food stamps. I want to talk about restrictions on purchases. The thing here is that the government wants to make sure that you are buying what is biologically needed for you to actually live and survive. Okay, not buy the kinds of food that you want, all kinds of food that you want. Okay, so households can use SNAP benefits for food items such as bread, cereal, fruits, vegetables, meat, fish, poultry, dairy products, and seeds and plants that produce foods. On some occasions, qualified homeless, elderly, or disabled people can use SNAP benefits at restaurants. Okay, but it's really, really rare. And eligible food is defined as any food or food products for home consumption. So things like soft drinks, candy, cookies, snack crackers, and ice cream, as well as quote-unquote luxury items like live seafood, steak, and bakery cakes are eligible. And energy drinks with the nutrition facts label are eligible. Energy drinks with the supplement facts label are classified by the Food and Drug Administration as a supplement, so they're not eligible. Very important. So you have to really pay attention to the classification when it comes to energy drinks. Birthday cakes and special occasion cakes are eligible as long as the value of non-edible decorations does not exceed 50% of the cake's purchase price. Again, those rules are very, very strict. It is what it is. And Congress once considered limiting the kinds of food that could be bought with SNAP benefits, but decided it was too costly and burdensome to designate foods as luxury or non-nutritious. So among the items that cannot be bought with SNAP benefits, you have beer, you have wine, you have liquor, you have cigarettes, you have tobacco, you have pet food, you have soap, you have paper products, you have household supplies, you have vitamins, you have medicine, cosmetics, grooming items, food that will be eaten in the store, and hot food. So those are actually foods that cannot be bought with SNAP benefits. Very, very important. Let's quickly talk about how much SNAP benefits you can expect. See, the whole thing here is that it's all about, again, I want to specify the fact that the program is federal but run locally. So SNAP benefits to a household are called an allotment. So SNAP households are expected to spend about 30% of their resources on food. So the allotment is calculated by multiplying the household's net monthly income by 0.3 and subtracting the results from the maximum monthly allotment for household size. And so you can see on the screen right now, the maximum monthly allotments in 2023 are on the screen. But again, those numbers change all the time. So by the time you watch this show, those numbers might have changed. So please check with your state or the USDA website to have a clearer idea. And so I want to quickly walk you through the calculation of an allotment. It's not really that complicated, but you need to understand. So here's an example of benefit computation for a 4-person household with a net income of $1,000. So first, you want to multiply the net income by 30%. Okay, so this is basically running up. So a 1,000 net income multiplied by 0.3 equals $300. So far, so good, right? So that result is actually subtracted from the maximum allotment for the household size. So it's the 784 maximum allotment for a 4-person household minus $300 to arrive at the monthly SNAP allotment of $484. So you have 784 minus 300 equal 484. So far, so good, right? Following here? Okay. In addition to receiving benefits from SNAP, you can also research other ways to save money on food, actually. Okay. But again, this is another program, another topic for another show. So qualifying for SNAP can automatically qualify you for other government benefit programs like the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, the LIHEAP. Okay, and this is really important. So if you need help paying your electric bill, reach out before your power is turned off. So, but we do have another show that's coming up. We actually will be devoting a lot of an entire show to a LIHEAP. It's a great program that actually helps a lot of folks in difficulty, and we want to actually provide as much info about the program as possible so that our viewers or their family members who might find themselves in that situation know that there is help. To close today's conversation, let me give you a few tips to make your food stamp benefits last longer. Because it's really important. You're getting allotments every month. You just make sure that you are able to manage your funds properly. So you want to make you want to make a shopping list before you go to the store. This is really important. Okay, this will help you buy only what you need and not overspend when you are in the store. You can use the shopping list feature you can download an app. There are a lot of apps that actually help you to do this real fast. Okay, so you're able to calculate how much is in your basket. You can add prices of items as you add them to your cart. There are a lot of apps that actually allow you to do this automatically. So you want to avoid buying smaller, individually packaged items. So when food comes individually wrapped or in small quantities, it often costs more. So you want to buy large packages of snack items and make individual packages yourself. Freeze and store things that you can. Okay, this is really good. You can actually you can also add you can also do things like shave your own lettuce or shred your own cheese instead of buying pre-shredded lettuce or cheese. Again, it's all about saving money. You want to create a meal plan and stick to it when you are shopping. See, the thing is, a meal plan can help you make a list of items to buy. Meal planning can be overwhelming at first, so you can start with just a few days. Okay, make enough so that you can eat the leftovers for lunch the next day or freeze portions for a future meal. More meal planning tips and ideas can help you over the long run get to the point where you are actually making your food stamps benefits last longer. And buy less meat. See, beans and lentils are cheap, healthy, and versatile alternatives, or buy the meat that's on sale. See, a 1 pound bag of lentils or beans makes 10 servings at only $1.99 or $2 a month, or not a month, a bag. Okay, so beans also packed with the fiber. They really keep you fuller for longer, as well as lots of vitamins and minerals. So what I'm trying to say here is what you want to look for alternatives that are cheaper than meat, and avoid buying what's at eye level on the shelves. Okay, they are often the most expensive branded items. Look above or below for more affordable brands, or store generic brands. And many store brands are made by the same companies that make brand name products. Okay, this is really important. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just explaining to you how to apply for SNAP. In other words, how to qualify for food stamps. So I explained how, let me do a quick recap here. So I explained how to apply for SNAP, SNAP resources and income limits, how SNAP really works, how much SNAP benefits to expect, and tips to make your food stamp benefits last longer. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.